everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to card number 9 in the Countdown to Christmas card series. Today we are going to be using some scrap pattern paper and stamps and dies from Concord and Ninth and Mama Elephant. The stamp set is Little Elf Agenda and the dies are Joyful Noel dies. I've cut them out of some scraps as well as this piece of pattern paper. The card base is 3.5 by 8.5. The piece that we're going to work on right now is 1/8 of an inch smaller, and then the white piece is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the pattern paper, so that you could see a little bit of the pattern paper behind it. So we're just going around the edges with Pine Needles Distress Oxide using one of my Rabbit Hole Designs Cottontail blending brushes, and we're just putting a little bit of color around the edges. This helps get rid of the white core that's on the side of the paper, which is what I'm doing here as well. I'll do this on the L and the O. I didn't do anything on the N and the E because I didn't have any red on my desk. I didn't feel like getting up. So now I'm cleaning off my desk and we are going to start placing the papers down, or the letters down. So I'm just spacing things out, and you'll notice the N and the O will go very close to the bottom of the paper. The E and the L are a tiny bit smaller, so I've actually brought them up a little bit to make it not look so awkward. I think that it looks awkward here because the E and the L are so much smaller. But we are going to stamp little elves on top of these, so I wanted to make sure I had enough room. So I spaced it out and I cut the paper down to make sure that there was just enough room to stamp an elf on there, especially on the N and the L. So I'm using my MFT On Point Precision Glue on the back of all the letters to just put some glue down so that we can get ready to stamp. I wanted to put the letters down first so that I would have an idea of where the elves needed to stand. Just gluing these all down, and I did get a little bit of distress ink or distress oxide on right by the O. We'll fix that later on. I think that was here that I got it. So now we're taking the Little Elf Agenda stamp set and just figuring out where these elves should go. Now some of them are standing flat on 2 feet, others have a foot up in the air. So I thought for the N and the L, the elves that had a foot up in the air would be really cute on there. So I picked one that was facing to the left for the N and one that was facing to the right for the L. I'm just figuring out where the other pieces went. In my sketch, I did a sketch for this one. This is all I had. I had the word Noel written out. Actually, I had the word Merry written out. I was going to do it in other letters or another die set. And then I found this one in my Christmas stash and I thought, let's just use this one. It's a little different. And I just had in the original sketch, I just had the 5 Merry on there because it was a little bit more spread out. So after I stamped these, I realized that I don't like the way it looks. I think there's too much white space. I was contemplating putting, doing a stencil in the background, putting some like snowflakes, stamping some of the extraneous images on the set, and I thought, wait a second, why do I need to stop at the 4 elves? Can I put elves other places? So now they're sitting in the O, they're sitting in the L, and they're right next to the N. I thought that I should have an odd number because a lot of things look nicer in odd numbers. So that's what I tried to do, 4 at the top and 3 on the bottom. But then I realized that to the right of the L, there's a lot of blank space there. So here you see me decide, all right, I need another elf. So I'm trying to figure out which elf will look good there. And the one with the accordion Christmas trees is the one that I end up picking. So if I had to do this card over again, I probably would have spaced the E and the L a little, actually all the letters a little bit closer together. And then, because I feel like this elf is almost hanging off the paper, but it turns out cute. And again, these are handmade cards. And I always second guess myself and I always look at a card and say, what could I have done better? So I'm just, I'm always in my head thinking that I could have done something better with the cards. Now we're going to get ready to color, and because these images are so small, I really am just using 1 to 2 colors. So I used E42 and E37. The E37 is a little bit of the shadow on the list, and then the E37 I colored in the clipboard. So it doesn't really matter what colors we used here because it's just a very simple blend. Most of these, I brought out a ton of markers, but I really only used one color for everything. I just wanted to do some simple coloring, and I left most of it in. So now the elves that are on the red N and O, I colored in their outfits green. So it's G17. I also colored in their little hats green. So if they had a green outfit, they got a green hat. And then they'll get red shoes, and there's a little bit of, like, they look like little spikes on there. Those ones also, those will get red. So the red I picked is R89. So this is more of this matches the background of the card a little bit better than the red that actually, there's the other letters, the N and the E. So I'm just going in and doing very simple coloring. Like I said, there's no shading. This is just very simple. I could have cut some of this out, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this whole Christmas, Countdown to Christmas series that I'm doing. I'm almost halfway there. I still have a couple more cards to be halfway there, but I'm pretty proud of myself. Last year I ran out of time. We went away for my birthday, and then I actually was back. It was Thanksgiving, and then I went away the week after Thanksgiving. So I was out of the country and out of the state a lot in the last couple weeks of the year. So I didn't reach my goal, but I am on target to reach my goal for this year. So I'm so excited. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. I'm loving using different products, older products. I will have some newer things coming. I have some Christmas things on order. So I'm very excited to use some of the new stuff as well as the old stuff. I actually have 2 full bins of Christmas stamps that I have been pulling out and using some sketches and drawing things out. So I'm very excited to be able to use the products that I have in coordination with the products that I'm going to be getting. I love mixing new and old things together. So, and especially using up some of my pattern paper, because that was one of my goals for this year, was to use up pattern paper or my scrap paper, because I have a huge scrap bin. I'm working on redoing the craft room right now, so that tour will be coming soon. My desk is pretty much cleaned up. I've done a whole new section for the stamps. I've done something completely new and different. I feel like I redo it every couple months, but I really like the way this is right now, and it's put away so that I can see it. I just have to make labels for it, so I'm excited to do that. I definitely have some cleaning up and straightening up to do. I did a video before I started anything, and if I'm brave enough, I will show it to you guys. So anyway, I'm hoping you're really liking this series. I love hearing your responses to the questions that I've asked in several of the videos, and I am working on some fun fold things, some ephemera cards, and some pattern paper cards. I think those were the things that people had said they liked doing in theirs, and I wanted to use things that people that watch my videos like to use as well. So I do have some stencil things coming up, some die cut only cards, because those are really fun too if you're just die cutting. So again, we're just coloring in more of the images, and I think this is pretty much almost the end. I cut out most of the coloring of their faces and the presents and the things that are in their hands. I just wanted to show you guys the color scheme that I use. So this is R46 that I'm going in with the red on the candy canes, and then that's pretty much it. That's the end of the coloring that I show you guys in this video. Okay, so now we're going to take the MFT On Point Precision Glue and put the glue over the back of it and all down the middle. And I usually use ATG, but my ATG tape ran out. I think it ran out before this one. And that ran out before this video or after this, or during this video. So now we are going to get ready to glue it down to that card base. So you can barely see the card base. It's only 1/8 of an inch larger than that green piece. And you'll see, I think that's where I got the Distress Oxide on my card, but we'll fix it. I must have already run out of ATG because I'm using my On Point Precision Glue, which is fantastic for gluing things down. Just don't use too much of it. Too much of any wet glue will warp your paper. So now we're using some of the gems that I got from a set. I believe this one is from Hero Arts. And I had dumped out a couple of things, a Trinity stamp pack, as well as a Kindred stamp little container that I got that had reds and greens in it. And nothing was really looking right. There weren't a lot of greens in that one, and I was kind of disappointed in the Kindred one. I was hoping that there'd be more green in it. They only had one big, real, it was like a childish fake looking jewel, so I didn't really like that. I wanted small things to go on my card, so I decided to put a little bit of gold in there because I colored in the little bell or pom-pom on the end of their hats in the gold Copic color that I have. So I'm deciding how many jewels I want on the card, and I think I end up with 4 or 5. And they were sticking to my hands. I was such a mess. Now I have my craft tool that I'm using. I have a jewel picker, but I don't like it. I've actually used this craft knife way more, or X-Acto knife way more. So now I'm going in with some glitter glue and just putting little red dots where the berries in this wreath would be. I accidentally cut off one of the berries and one of the leaves when I was cutting out the pattern paper, so I thought this would hide it. And you'll see I make the dreaded mistake of pulling the glitter glue too far. You'll see some of it splattered out. So all you do is take your craft knife, push it back, and then you can just wipe off the little pieces of glitter that were behind. You would never know if you didn't see this part of the video that I accidentally did that, and then I will accidentally do it again, and I'll have to do the same thing, scrape it up. It's very easy to fix. Don't think you ruined your card. So if you can't get all the glitter up, another thing you can do is go over it with your white gel pen. So that's the end of the card. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're enjoying this series. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, subscribing, and I will see you again real soon for another video.